It's time for the news, hotness, and the best of Board Game Geek. What's up, everybody? My name is Nick.
I'm Mike.
We are the Brothers Murph, and that's right, we are back for the best of BGG. We talk about some news, talk about the hottest games of the month, most played games of the month, and then we personally pick a couple things that we saw in BGG that we really enjoyed.
That's right, it's a kind of total encapsulation of Board Game Geek, a celebration, if you will. So let's go ahead and hop right into the news.
The first bit of Board Game Geek news is that the Geek Store has an update, as they do usually every single month, but this one is time for celebration because the Geek Up bits for Quacks of Quedlinburg are back. These are Geek Up bits that a lot of people consider to be essential to the game, and I'm not gonna lie, they're very nice. The acrylic tiles, the click-clacky as you reach into your bag is so nice. You might have noticed that I'm also wearing a new shirt. I don't believe this is in the store quite yet at the time of recording this, but it should be around soon, but a new Game Night shirt. This is some new BGG merch. Love us some BGG merch. You'll see us in it all the time, let's be honest. And there's also some like Azul Collectors tiles. There's a whole bunch of other stuff in here. Some cool cups, of course, GameGenic stuff. There are some upgraded bits and bobs and promos as well. It's really cool, so make sure to check out the Board Game Geek store.
It's a very exciting time of year because the Golden Geek nominations are now open for you to vote on. There are all types of categories, light, medium, and heavy game, your favorite podcast, and many more categories. You can go in there and vote for your favorites and kind of do a whole ranking system. And we give out awards, in about a month or so. So the nomination window is not open for a super long time, so make sure you go in there and make your voice heard. This is a kind of a award of the people, as it were. So go ahead and make sure you go and vote on the Golden Geeks. That's just a little bit of Board Game Geek news for you. Let's go on down to the table and go over the hottest games of the month.
All right, and we're here for the top 10 hottest games of the month. Lots of games. I'm kind of all over the list this month.
It's been an interesting month, yeah, which is
it's
kind of like
we're near convention season, but not quite there.
Yeah.
So some stuff's coming out. So let's go ahead and get number 10. Number 10 is going to be Wormspan. Wormspan is still sticking around.
Been a mainstay the last number of months.
Wingspan always is like, if it's not in the hotness at some point in the month, it's like in the top 15. It's kind of one of those games that's always around. Like Arc Nova's kind of usually always around. Wormspan now is there as well. We actually just bought Wormspan. Still haven't had a chance to play it yet. But very excited because I both of us like Wingspan, and Wingspan with dragons. I know it changes some stuff. So
yeah, maybe excited. Like a little bit more crunchy now. Yeah, which is interesting.
Yeah, we've been talking about the last couple of months. It's Wingspan with dragons. A little bit more going on, people seem to really enjoy it, and I really can't wait to try it.
Yeah, indeed, I'm right there with you. Love apiary. So yeah, now we have a chance to play.
In theory, we have it. We can play it.
In theory, it's playable, and we'll get to it hopefully soon. That's number 10.
Number 9 is one that's been here for a month or two now. This is Dune War for Arrakis. I really want to try this game.
I almost bought it the other day.
Really?
It was
Was it at the store?
Yeah, it was at a store. It was like $140. I was like,
it's expensive.
Wow. I'm like, oh, just again because of like time. Do we have time to play it? But I really want to, because Nick and I are big fans of War of the Ring.
Yes.
Which this basically, it's not a carbon copy by any means,
but they're the same people
and stuff. But it's putting it into the world of Dune, which of course has like interesting people in it and stuff, and that are all warring and vying for control. So it seems like a great setting,
the Harkonnens and
for a big kind of like war type game. So I really want to try it because we like Lord of the Rings, we like War of the Ring, we like Dune. I imagine we'll like this as well. So
So really want to try it. I know our good friend Shay played it recently. He really liked it too. So that made me like, okay. And I know he likes War of the Rings, so I'm like, all right, really want to try it. But yeah, Dune War for Arrakis, it's gotten to people's hands a couple months ago, and people are playing it a bunch, and people really seem to like it. So I really want to try it. That's Dune War for Arrakis number 9. Another Dune game.
Keeping on the Dune train. Yeah. This is Dune Imperium Uprising.
Yeah, Uprising and Dune Imperium kind of like Wingspan, are kind of always hovering around the top 10.
Correct. Yeah. So this is a new version of Dune Imperium, largely the same game, but it brings a couple of new modes and ways to play.
Team mode and
it's,
stuff. Yeah.
It's a standalone expansion, I guess.
You played a lot of Dune Imperium digitally, right?
I have played a lot of Dune Imperium digitally. I've gotten no better at it, but I really enjoy that game, and I'm curious to see like what the Uprising, like the different modes of play, like how that team game kind of works. Would be kind of interesting, but hey, it's more Dune goodness, and that's always good for the world because it's been a really well-supported game.
Yeah,
as
it's done very well for
this
them.
Newest version, and it's just really
Dune
fun.
Imperium's like 8 on the top 10 of all time or something. It's in the top 10, so it's like, wow, that's nuts.
It's earned its praise, it seems.
Yeah, it really has jumped way up there in this last couple of years. So yeah, Dune Imperium Uprising is number 8. Let's go into number 7. Number 7, I think, is here just because of the show.
Yes, this is Fallout.
Yeah,
which,
Fallout. It's like a Fantasy Flight game from 2017. This is not like a new game.
No.
This is like 6-7 years old at this point.
Correct, but there is a Fallout show on Amazon Prime
watched
now. I'm like halfway through it.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
And so we're curious if that's like created this interest. Like I don't know,
I
people
sure seem like it.
yeah, like watch the show and say like, oh, I wonder if there's a Fallout board game
Yeah.
that kind of got the clicks going.
Yeah, if
and
we're
then-
wrong, let us know. I was looking around being like, oh, is there like a new Kickstarter or something like that? I was
Yeah,
like,
now
no,
that we can
this is
see.
the older game. I was like, looking on there, I'm like, what is it? And I was like, oh, it must be just the show. I mean, people are looking up stuff all the time for it.
Yeah.
And so that might be it. But yeah, if there's something else, let us know. Because I was trying to, because sometimes someone pop in the hotness and I'm like, why is that randomly the hotness?
Yeah.
And there might be like someone
new
like
edition
someone sit down
or-
just did a review on it or something like
Sure.
that. Things like that happens. But I couldn't find one for Fallout. And I think it's just because of the show.
We think so,
But
yeah.
But this is a Fantasy Flight game from 2017. It's kind of like a big
You're kind of like exploring the wasteland.
exactly.
You're going around and fighting off creatures and stuff. So it's just kind of like
I was
those
gonna say
like
it's campaign, but I don't think it's a campaign.
no, I
game.
don't
Yeah.
believe so. But it's got all those markers from like
Yeah.
the Fallout series.
Yeah,
and stuff,
so
from what we understand.
It
So-
popped back up. Good for that show. I'm glad it's good. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
the show's
awesome.
great. It's really
All
fun.
That's number 7. Number 6 is a new game by Stonemaier Games.
Yeah, not coming out for a while.
No, not coming up for a while. This is Vantage.
Yes.
Vantage is going to be a roguelike game, like kind of like an open world roguelike game.
A cooperative, but sort of you're all doing your own
Yeah.
thing, sandboxy kind of
Yeah.
game, where you're basically all landing on this planet and you're in different areas. So it's like everything it's sort of borrowing from like video games. Like everything that I'm doing is from my vantage point.
Yeah.
Like I am in a certain part of the planet, so I can see certain things. I have access to certain resources
Yep.
or whatever it might be that you won't have because you're in a whole different location.
It's cool.
We're all kind of simultaneously doing our things, but I think trying to help each other
Yeah.
out. There's very little information about this already. It was just briefly announced. And I think it's still
there's
over
really
a
only
year
like,
away.
as far as I can tell, there's only like a cover for it, and that's pretty. Oh, hi, Mary.
Yeah, so
So like
it's
a cover for it. Yeah, it's by Stonemaier Games, so people are talking about it. And it's also Jamey Stegmaier's design too.
yes, and I guess
Yeah.
he's been working on it for a long time.
I would assume
apparently.
so. There's more and more like roguelite board games coming out too. I love roguelite video games like Slay the Spire, which we'll talk about in a second. Dead Cell's got a board game thing.
Sure.
We've been playing Balatro a bunch, which is just
the
very
video game.
addicting.
It's just
Yeah.
fun to have something
I
where
love
you can
roguelites.
get better over time.
So yeah, I'm excited for the roguelite video game. But yeah, Vantage, we'll see. It seems cool, but I'm really, really interested in this one.
yeah, curious to find out more. It always makes a splash when Stonemaier does anything.
Yeah.
So it's number 6, Vantage.
Number 5 is Tiny Epic Game of Thrones. I believe the campaign just ended for this.
think
It was
so,
out
yes,
on
it was-
crowdfully. I think it just now ended, at least
Correct.
as within a day or two of recording this and stuff.
Yeah,
But
last time
this
it popped
is
up on the
Tiny Epic-
hottest when they announced
Yes.
this one.
Tiny Epic Game of Thrones, a title that I don't think that many people saw coming.
No, and it's like, okay, like yeah, I guess
why
it makes
not?
sense. It's kind of a funny, part of like the gimmick of these Fallout games is that they have these big gameplay
In Tiny Epic.
in a Tiny Epic game. Sorry, in the big gameplay in a small
Yeah,
box
yeah.
and stuff. And so Game of Thrones, I think, is kind of the perfect setting because
Yeah.
there's so many characters. There's all these people vying for control, and to
Yeah.
put that into the tiniest box possible.
Yeah,
is really
and I
kind of
know
fun.
this one, you're like battling and stuff, you're doing things. I know there's, I can't remember, I don't know exactly what it is. Hi, Mary, you're very needy right now. Our dog Mary is here. I know you kind of, you're forced to interact with each other.
Yeah.
You can't, I don't think you can like turtle really. It's like you're kind of forced to
Yeah.
interact, you're forced to do stuff. So yeah, it's very Game of Thrones. It wouldn't be very Game of Thrones if you're not forced to like
It's got to be conflict.
get in each other's way, right?
Yeah.
So, nonetheless, that is Tiny Epic Game of Thrones campaign just ended, and yeah, people seem to be really into it.
There you go.
Number 4, you're really excited about. This is a Gest for Robin Hood.
Yes,
Gest
this
of
is
Robin Hood, rather.
Gest
Sorry.
of Robin Hood. So this is a GMT, I think kind of coin-inspired
Yeah,
war
it's-
kind
yes.
of game, but it's set in like, medieval England, I guess, with
Yeah.
Robin Hood and the Sheriff of Nottingham and stuff. And so I just enjoy the setting. I was gonna say, it's like a fantasy setting. Like, well, not really, but it's a story we all know and are familiar with, and the characters are known. And
Yeah.
so like that to me seems like a fun setting for doing a kind of war game. So as people that aren't really into war games but have had some amount of curiosity about them, I think something like the setting for that game is really important. So this is one where I'm like, oh, I would try it with this theme. I would absolutely try it. So Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah,
Yeah, it seems cool. I think it's a good like introduction to coin games. It's kind of I remember seeing that it's kind of like that, and then yeah, it's like the kind of aesthetic of a lot of war games I'm not super into, but this one because it's Robin Hood, the cover's like really pretty. The map is kind of like more of an old timey map.
Yeah,
it just looks cool, and I'm always kind of interested in like coin games, especially some of the easier ones to get into. And I think this is one of those, and so I'm like, oh, that seems kind of interesting, you know. So yeah, I'm interested in this one. Interested in this one. Number 3 is going to be the Mandalorian Adventures. This is by Unexpected Games, who do really cool games like Inside Job. The Initiative is almost what I want to say. Inside Job is a different game. It's a trick-taking game.
Yeah.
We have the Mandalorian Adventures made by Corey, who makes those games. And yeah, it looks kind of like it's a cooperative game, but what it looks like from the outset is kind of like one of the Ravensburger adventure book games.
Yeah.
Where there's like different kind of scenarios.
maps.
I don't think it plays similarly, but I was like, oh, this looks like an adventure book game in some ways. But yeah, it's like a spiral-bound book that I think is going to have different missions. It's co-op stuff. It's based on the Disney series, The Mandalorian, specifically the first season.
Yeah, so it's going to be kind of the characters that you see in that, and you can play as different folks that all have their own deck of cards and abilities and kind of strategies that you'd want to do as you kind of move through scenarios that are shown on this map book, kind of similar to like Jaws of the Lion would do, where you can sort of open up this book and then you have your whole scenario kind of laid out before you and you're running around doing bounty hunter stuff, which sounds cool. Like I like that show. So
it seems cool. Yeah, I like the idea. I love the idea of those kind of books because it allows you to put a bunch of different maps, a bunch of different, like there's definitely a nice thing about just like tiles like in Gloomhaven where it's like, yeah, you can make a whole bunch of different maps because you could arrange them in different ways. But it's so nice like Gloomhaven, Jaws Line or something like this where it's like each page has its own art, has its own thing. It's just so cool and contained that I really like it. So yeah, I'm super excited about this. Unexpected Games usually does really good stuff. The Mandalorian's a cool setting. And then again, I like that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in this one too.
Let's bring it on.
Number 2, we talked about roguelites earlier. This is going to be Slay the Spire, the board game, which is hitting people's hand. They had a very successful campaign. Was it last year?
I think it was last fall.
It's hitting people's hands now.
Who knows how time works anymore?
Yeah. Right around the time that Slay the Spire 2 just got announced too.
Yeah, that's right, which is exciting. So,
but this is a board game version of Slay the Spire.
Yeah, so it turns it into a multiplayer cooperative game versus Slay the Spire, which is mostly designed as just a solo experience. Where now you can play the different characters together, and you can even like combo off each other's stuff. So if there's not like a set turn structure, so if I play a card that puts some sort of buff onto one of the enemies, Nick can then play a card and kind of make use of that buff. So it's really something we found we really enjoyed was it feels really cooperative and kind of the way you tag team and
there's a lot of ways like, I'm going to give you a shield. There's a lot of things you can do to help each other, and there's no turn structure as you said.
Yeah, which was super cool. So it was like fun, interesting to think of like how do I, it changes it pretty differently from the video game. It's very similar to the video game in terms of structure, the cards, all those things that you love from the video game. The upgrading is there, but it kind of turns it around where now you have these new opportunities that you don't have in a solo experience. So that part we really enjoyed.
And
this is cool.
Slay the Spire, it's very familiar. The cards they're adapted to work in a board game.
But they're the same
but the same kind of feel and stuff like that. Yeah, it's cool. We got the chance to play a little bit of it, and I've played like 100 hours of Slay the Spire, so love some Slay the Spire, and the board game is fun. So yeah, it's good. We got our copy recently, and we haven't had a chance to play it, but I've organized it. I'm very excited about it.
I know.
But yes, number 2. Let's go ahead and get number 1. Number 1 seems to be everywhere right now. This is Harmonies.
Harmonies, yes. This is a beautiful looking game.
Really
I think
pretty.
That's a big piece of why people are excited by it. I think it just looks awesome. It's a game where you're putting out these like tokens in different places on your player board and also stacking them to different heights.
Yeah.
And you're kind of trying to complete objectives, I guess, of like having certain things arranged in a certain way on your board.
Yeah.
But this is one that just seems to be everywhere right now. Everyone seems to be into it. I saw it at the store the other day. Same place I saw that Dune game. I didn't get this one either because I
really wish you'd gotten this one. Yeah.
But it drew me in by its look, and now I wish I had gotten it. I was like,
I know, like it's kind of like Cascadia-ish in terms of scoring, where like certain things score in their scoring conditions will change out from game to game because the scoring is on cards. But if I remember correctly, in this one, everyone has their own card. So like this thing will score this way for you, but it won't score the same thing for you. And so like I think that's really interesting. Yeah, it's just like really pretty. I know Think Themer really liked it.
Awesome.
Our good friends Amy and Maggie, they really love it. And so yeah, I'm really excited about this one. It's so gorgeous. It's got a great table presence with kind of like the 3D nature of it. And then, yeah, it's kind of got some Cascadia-ish vibes and stuff like that.
Probably a similar weight, I imagine.
Yeah, so
not too heavy or anything.
Very, very excited about that. Yeah, Harmonies is going to be #1. That is the 10 hottest games of the month. People are talking about it. Now we're going into May, which means we're starting to see some convention stuff.
Yeah.
You know, UK Games Expo, Origins are happening in June, and then we go into Gen Con, so it's going to start
It's going to be a flurry of new games very soon.
It's going to be wild.
There's always new games, but it'll be even more so.
There's never not new games.
Yeah.
So at the end of the hottest part, we always talk about the 10 most played games of the month. So these are people who have logged their gameplays on BGG. You can do that. It also like BG stats and stuff like that. You can just like
you can link it all together. Yeah.
You can link BGA to BG stats. It's all linked together now.
Awesome.
But nonetheless, let's get into the 10 most played games of the month. Number 10 is going to be Trio, which I'm assuming is mostly because of BGA. But this is 6,251, or Nana if you have that version. Love Trio.
Yeah, awesome game. We got Heat Pedal to the Metal is at 6,391, always around.
Yes, Sea Salt and Paper, which has 7,727.
Golly, we got Sky Team is on 7,748.
Marvel Champions has 7,885.
Nice. We got Azul here at 8,010. Sorry about that.
Wingspan has 8,194.
Star Wars Unlimited, which I contributed one play to, is at 8,242.
That's good. That's not digital. So that's people just playing that game. And then Mikey called number 2, and you literally said it was going to be number 2, is Terraforming Mars, because Terraforming Mars just hit BGA.
I knew it would be up there.
Which is 9,209.
But not to be outdone, at least for now, by Arc Nova, which is at 11,562. I'm very curious to see if Terraforming Mars pops above Arc Nova. But those, I feel like those will be number 1 and 2.
I mean, it's still 2,000 away. Arc Nova has been, once it hit BGA, it's just been at the top of this list, just parked. All right, so that is the 10 most played games of the month. We're gonna stand back up and go over some Murph picks.
My Murph pick is actually also from the Geek Up store, and this is something that I think is really cool. Our dear friend Ambi wrote a board game kids book, a board book, for kids called Board Game Day, and it's got this sing-songy kind of rhyming scheme to it, and it's all about inviting your friends over to play board games with you. There's all sorts of Easter eggs in there of real-life games. They got permission from publishers to use their games in the book and stuff. It's something that I got a couple copies of. I read to my daughter, and it's awesome just trying to like turn her into a little board gamer. I think it's super duper cool. I love that's gonna be more widely available here on Board Game Geek, so do check out Board Game Day. It don't matter your age.
My Murph pick is going to be the 4-player pieces from the Castles of Burgundy Special Edition by Boglar. These are really, really cool. I'm a big mini painter. I love painting minis, and these ones are done so well. So these are, again, from the Castles of Burgundy Special Edition, and so your little player piece that kind of tracks your score are these really cool busts, and these are painted so well. They're done in the player's colors, but they're done kind of like more subtly than making them like really like, this one's all blue, this one's all yellow, this one's all purple. And then the red one is cool because it's got a cool underglow. I love minis with object source sliding. By the way, if you don't check out mini painting with Lincoln. Lincoln does mini painting live on YouTube and Twitch all the time. It's really fun to hang out. But nonetheless, I love mini painting. I saw these and I was like, wow, those are really well done. That's better than I can do. And so I was really inspired. I was like, man, those are freaking cool. We have the special editions back on our shelves. I'm like, maybe I should try and copy this one right here because it's really outstanding. Such a good paint job. Alrighty, so those are some Murph picks. At the very end of the video, we always talk about our personal favorite game of the month, favorite gaming experience. Down in the comments also, let us know what your favorite game that you played this month, old, new, whatever you want. I think we're both picking not new games.
Yeah, for me it's Super Mega Lucky Box. Is not the oldest game on Earth. It's a super light, silly kind of bingo style game that's now on Board Game Arena.
Is it really?
Where
that's nice.
You basically flip over a card with a number, and you're gonna look at these various boxes that you're working on, these cards, and if you have a matching number, a 9 or an 8 or whatever, you can cross off one of those boxes. And then as you complete rows and columns, you get to get bonuses like these lightning bolts, which help you mitigate the card draws. You can get bonus numbers like a 7, which you can immediately mark down. Yep. There's always fun combos. It's super light, and I always just find myself really enjoying it because it's not trying to be anything that's not It's
no
just
theme.
super
It's
light,
just like, yeah, it's
fun. There's some fun combos you can build and a little bit more strategy to employ than you would think, but it's super light. So that's Super Mega Lucky Box.
Yeah, Super Mario Lucky. Every time I play it, I'm like, oh, that's right. This game, I never think it's bad in my head.
Yeah.
But I'm always like,
It's
that's
really
right.
fun.
This game's just great.
Yeah.
This game is just great.
Highly enjoyable.
My favorite game of the month is going to be Too Many Bones. I guess specifically Too Many Bones Unbreakable? No, actually, technically I was playing the base game. But I was playing with Static, if you know Too Many Bones, which is a new gear lock I'm playing. He's got like charged hands and stuff like that. And he's interesting. He's like this weird, like interesting, like tanky character where you can essentially, you don't have like much dexterity and stuff, but you have these like counters, and then you were constantly bringing them up, and then you can basically turn them down to do these like huge turns.
Oh, so it's charging up over time.
Yeah,
kind
and
of
then you
thing?
can also like electrify people and stuff. It's very, very cool. It's a gear lock that I've been enjoying a lot, but I've been soloing Too Many Bones a decent amount. And getting wrecked per use, you know, like
As
I
it
do.
goes.
But yeah, I really like Too Many Bones. It's been growing on me a lot more and more. Every time I play it, I'm like, oh yeah, now I get why people are like, this is like a lifestyle game for a lot of people.
For sure.
And so yeah, I've been playing as Static in case you're into Too Many Bones, and he's very, very fun. So yeah, Too Many Bones is my favorite month.
Very cool. Let us know in the comments what your favorite games of the month were. Pop in. It could be a new game, old game, new to you, whatever. We want to see those in the comments, and let us know what favorite game you saw that we either mentioned or didn't from the hotness. And we'll see y'all next month.
Bye, everybody.